So here we have it, the BYD Sealion 7. In this episode, we're going to take a closer look at this car and try and work out who this is really for and whether it would fit your lifestyle. I'm going to tell you that it's massive. I'm also going to tell you that it's just there looking at me. And head, shoulders, knees and toes. Now these are brilliant cars on paper. They are becoming incredibly popular. But why is that? What is it about this car that makes it so special? So as a child, I remember buying Chinese cars. And as you open the blister pack, the car came out in more bits than what was actually put in there in the first place. Now these Chinese cars that they're making now are nothing like that. You really ought to go and try one because this particular car is mightily impressive. I suppose the first thing you've got to say is that it is a mid-size SUV. It competes with cars like the Polestar 4, the Tesla Model Y, the Skoda Enyaq, Volkswagen ID 4 and 5. It's that sort of range of car. They're jacked up, they have loads of room inside. Now you have roughly 1800 litres of space if you fold the seats down. Now within that you've got 520 litres of boot space, about 56 litres of frunk space in the front. But it's the adaptability and the practicality that's really, really nice. Look at that, no tunnel. I can actually do a little shuffle down here. Heated seats in the back for the two outer passengers. Two little slots here for your mobile phone. A bigger one here, very airline, isn't it? I mean, look at this, head, shoulders, knees and toes. Loads of space and a window that goes all the way down too. Isofix galore and a rear armrest that reveals two cup holders and look at this, storage too. How luxurious. Now not only does this car have USB connections down here in this wonderfully damped little thing that appears just there looking at me, but it also comes with a plethora of cables that allow you to be able to even power your home. You have an adjustable boot floor, which gives you a little bit of extra space. You have storage underneath the boot floor too. If you're enjoying this video, then why not hit that subscribe button? Hit the like button too. So there are three models in the lineup. You start at around £47,000 for the Comfort model, which is rear-wheel drive, an 82.5 kilowatt-hour battery, and it's good for around 300 miles of range, and 0 to 60 in around 6.7 seconds. 390-ish or so newton meters of torque, so it does go well, and it comes very, very well equipped too. Then you have the Design model, which has the same 82.5 kilowatt-hour battery pack, but it has motors at the front and rear. That comes in at around £52,000, but the performance really does take a bit of a hike now. So now you're looking at 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, like it says on the back. You've got 690 newton meters of torque and 523 brake horsepower. Now that is really going some at this point. And finally you have this, the Excellence model, the top of the range car, which has a 91 kilowatt-hour battery and dual motors. Now that's good for a range of around 312 miles. The Comfort model, which is rear-wheel drive only, comes in at 2.2 tons. The Design model, which adds all-wheel drive, comes in at 2.3 tons. And this, with the bigger battery, the Excellence model, is 2.4 tons. So when you put all of that together, this is an incredibly, impressively practical car. Very, very nicely made too. And overall, I've got to say, you know, when I sit inside this car, I love it. I think it's a really, really nice place to sit. Everywhere you look, there's really nice touches and detail. I mean, these buttons here for the electric windows and the switchgear, they feel so good, actually. They feel very, very solid and very sturdy. And then you look at the styling here, you know, with these door handles and the way everything works is just, it's just beautiful. The sound that the doors make when they shut, again, fantastic. It's all really nicely appointed in here. Whether you're sitting in the front or the back, you will not feel shortchanged. I mean, just look at these seats. They are beautiful. They feel really well sculptured. They look really nice, and they are as comfortable as they look. The Napa leather in this light color in this car with the panoramic roof is truly outstanding, actually, because it gives you a really nice airy feel in here. Now the one criticism I do have are these very cheap feeling. Flat bottom steering wheel, as you can see here, BYD proudly presented in the middle, and even these little buttons here that you have, the wheels, there's a knurling on here which is really quite nice and quite satisfying to use. So all of the switchgear in here feels really, really premium. There is, of course, the center console here, start stop button. Everything works really well. with a nice, satisfying sort of feel to it. You also have this, a 50-watt charger for your mobile phone, which is cooled. You also have a little space here for your mobile phone or the little credit card that comes with the car, and you can start the car or start the engine with either your mobile phone and the NFC, which is built into that, or the little card that comes with the car. Now, of course, when it comes to unlocking the car, you can use the key fob or you can use your mobile phone. Look at that. Car even has a little butler. I mean, just watch this. I push my bottle down there so it doesn't come in the way when I've got my arm on the handrest like this. And then if I push this little button here, look at that. I can raise it and stop it wherever I want. In fact, I would go as far as saying that they're becoming so good, these Chinese cars now, that they are giving the likes of BMW, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, they're giving them a run for their money, you know. They really are quite good. So landscape or portrait, the choice is yours, but bear in mind that in portrait mode, the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto won't work. And if you want to switch off the nannies, again, very simple. Scroll down, you've got lane assist and speed limit warning. Click on that, okay. Click on that, okay. And the nannies are off. As I'm driving along, if I turn left, if I indicate left, you can see a little pop-out window up here just there, and it's giving me a blind spot view of what's going on and also where the wheels are in relation to the curb. It's so good, that camera. I absolutely love it, and it only works when you're turning left. Now, as I'm driving along here, this car, it's a big heavy car, right? But I can take the roads that you're familiar with now on this channel, I'm sure, and I'm doing 42 miles an hour here actually, not 50. But as I take these corners and I just squirt the throttle a little bit more and I get up to sort of 50 miles an hour, it handles it quite well. There is a little bit of weight shift that you can feel, but it's 2.4 tons. What do you expect? That's the way it's going to be, isn't it? But overall, when you drive this car in a spirited fashion, it's not its most comfortable place to be, really, in many respects. This car loves to just amble around town with its nice soft suspension where it just sort of cossets you and makes you feel as if you're driving something incredibly expensive. That's what this car is really, really good at. The other thing, of course, is this steering wheel, which is very bus-like almost, you know, it's sort of like at that sort of angle, a little bit go-karty. You know, when you go go-karting, it feels like a go-kart steering wheel in your hands. Not quite as heavy and not as much feel, without a shadow of a doubt. You can see the little screen here as well down here. Now that screen actually is very useful. It does give you quite a lot of useful information. Now some elements of it work extremely well. I mean, take this blind system as an example. All I have to do is say, hey BYD.
Yes?
Open the blind.
The blind is open.
Look how quickly it opens the blind. It's absolutely brilliant. Hey BYD.
Hello.
Close the blind.
All right.
I mean, that is so fast. You try doing that in a BMW and see what happens. It'll send it to a committee somewhere for them to understand what it is you're trying to say and then to try and react. Now, the really soft, comfortable nature of this car becomes its Achilles heel because it can't handle the corners quite as well. Now, it's okay in the dry. On greasy roads, however, with all that extra torque, you do find it can become a bit of a handful. Now, this car does have BYD's intelligent torque adaptation control. It tries to limit the amount of torque going to each motor or each wheel. It works to a certain extent, but the weight of this car, the amount of grip that you're going to get when you've got 2.4 tons and 690 newton meters of torque, well, it can leave a little bit to be desired. So all I would say is drive these things with caution in the wet, otherwise you could be facing in the wrong direction. Not that I know from personal experience. Now, the power delivery in this car is actually really good because that 523 brake horsepower doesn't just come bang in one go. You can leave this car in sort of like the standard mode and it drives extremely well. And that's the best mode, I think, for this car. So if I put this car into reverse as an example, yeah, you've got your reversing there. If I then put it into D, you've got the forward stuff. Now, if I turn the steering wheel, look at that. Isn't that great? It's lovely, isn't it? If I put it into ghost mode, the car sort of disappears and it becomes a bit of a ghosty car. And as I drive around in here, you can actually see what it's doing. See the wheels turning and everything. Now the turning circle on this car is really quite exceptional. That's all I can say. It's really, really tiny. What you find with a lot of these new electric cars now is that they've calibrated the accelerator pedal in such a way that they seem to deliver the power really nice and smoothly and gradually, and then really well too, really, really sort of powerfully. And they work extremely well. It's the same with this. It's the same with the Polestar 4 as well that I've driven recently, and the Skoda Enyaq. They all drive in a very, very similar way. The power delivery feels almost identical in all of them. And that's the one thing that us petrol heads miss, because whereas you can drive different brands of cars with engines and you have that soul, that heart, that feeling that you get from the engine, these cars are pretty much devoid from that. There might be a few handling characteristics that are slightly different between the different makes, but generally speaking, the amount of noise you get in here, the sounds of the motors, everything feels very, very similar. Now in this particular car, not a lot happens when you first hit the brake pedal. There's no feel to them at all. Then you get this sort of clicky sensation under your foot, and then the brakes start grabbing, but there's no feel, and you don't really know what the car is doing or what the wheels are doing at any given moment in time. And then you've got a steering which is a little bit plungy. It's not bad, it's pretty direct, and it's well geared, and it's light. Now listening to all of that, you might think I'm not that much of a fan of this car and the way it drives. Individually, you might think garlic's too strong or onions don't taste right, but when you actually put them together in a recipe and you make something like a pasta dish and it all comes together and you think, wow, this tastes really good, this car is a little bit like that. It's extremely well made, it's very, very spacious. Yes, it has a bit of performance to it as well, but it's the way it brings everything together. You have a wonderful head-up display that tells you exactly what's going on. You have screens and binnacles that give you all the information that you need. It's all at hand. And then you have this really, really nicely appointed interior, which is very, very well made. It has loads of storage in here, things like glove boxes and cubbies underneath the center console and door bins that are of a reasonable size. And all of a sudden you have this car which can do everything that you need for a family. It's a brilliant, brilliant family car. The Chinese car industry that we have right now, that's coming here in the UK, and the cars that they're making are so good that the European car makers really do need to start worrying. They need to start changing their approach. They need to come together and look at cars like this, the BYD Sealion 7, Leapmotor and Geely, who incidentally own Polestar and Volvo. And you've got to start looking at all of those and making a decision about whether the cars that they're making are good enough to be able to survive. Now, I'm not an electric car nut at all. In fact, I love my cars with engines. But when I drive this as a car, ignoring the fact that it hasn't got an engine in here, it does everything extremely well at the price point that they're charging, with the interior appointments that it has, the build quality and everything else that seems to be outstanding. And then you start to question your own sanity. But ultimately, it does what you want a car to do. And gone are the days when you could jump into a car and talk about its engine and its performance and the noise and the vibration and the harshness. All of that stuff has just gone out the window with these electric cars. They have become incredibly tactile, incredibly comfortable, incredibly refined, smooth, lovely to be in, maybe not to be seen in. If you can charge one of these cars at home, then boy does it make sense. And that, I think, is the key message with the BYD Sealion 7. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Now, did you know that we have a playlist that you can access by clicking on the tiles that appear in front of you now, and there you can go and find out all about net zero, and also a handy calculator to work out how much it would cost to run a petrol engined or a diesel engine car compared to an EV. Go and check that out, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.